I chose to accept the nomination because I believe deeply in the rule of law and the place of the Supreme Court in our nation. I believe Americans of all backgrounds deserve an independent Supreme Court that interprets our Constitution and laws as they are written. And I believe I can serve my country by playing that role. I also clerked for Justice Scalia. And like many law students, I felt like I knew the justice before I ever met him, because I had read so many of his colorful, accessible opinions. More than the style of his writing, though, it was the content of Justice Scalia's reasoning that shaped me. His judicial philosophy was straightforward. A judge must apply the law as it is written, not as she wishes it were. Sometimes that approach meant reaching results that he did not like. But as he put it in one of his best-known opinions, that is what it means to say that we have a government of laws and not of men. Justice Scalia taught me more than just law. He was devoted to his family, resolute in his beliefs, and fearless of criticism. And as I embarked on my own legal career, I resolved to maintain that same perspective. There's a tendency in our profession to treat the practice of law as all-consuming while losing sight of everything else. But that makes for a shallow and unfulfilling life. I worked hard as a lawyer and as a professor. I owed that to my clients, to my students, and to myself. But I never let the law define my identity or crowd out the rest of my life. A similar principle applies to the role of courts. Courts have a vital responsibility to the rule of law, which is critical to a free society. But courts are not designed to solve every problem or right every wrong in our public life. The policy decisions and value judgments of government must be made by the political branches, elected by and accountable to the people. The public should not expect courts to do so, and courts should not try. That is the approach that I have strived to follow as a judge on the Seventh Circuit. In every case, I have carefully considered the arguments presented by the parties, discussed the issues with my colleagues on the court, and done my utmost to reach the result required by the law, whatever my own preferences might be. I believe in the power of prayer, and it has been uplifting to hear that so many people are praying for me.
This is what they're upset about. Judge Barrett is a constitutionalist, which means she's a Madisonian, which means she believes in the separation of powers, which means she believes that federal judges are not politicians in robes, which means she believes that the United States Supreme Court is not supposed to be a mini Congress, which means she believes that federal judges are not supposed to try to rewrite the Constitution every other Thursday to advance a political or social agenda that they can't get by the voters, which means that she believes that the law is not supposed to be politics practiced a different way. And that upsets, not all, but many of my Democratic colleagues, because they don't believe, well, let me put it in a positive way. They believe in declarative government as opposed to representative government. Not all of them, but many of them. In representative government, the people control policy through their elected representatives. In declarative government, which we've been moving toward, policy is made by unelected judges and unelected members of the administrative state. Another word for bureaucrats.
Yeah.
And Barrett believes that that should not be the case. That is